I'm taking the strap. I'm strapped up.
What's happening? What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 246 of the SZN Podcast. I'm your host, Kam.
I'm your host, Flowz.
And you know the drill by now, guys. Before we kick off the episode, please head over to our Instagram page and our Twitter pages. Instagram is SZN Podcast and Twitter is SZN Pod. There's a link in the bio, both of those pages that will take you to where we're situated at streaming-wise. So if audio's your speed, we've got like the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, usual suspects, those links there. Visuals, the YouTube link is there. We upload to the YouTube channel every week as well. And we've got, other links such as TikTok, etc. Wherever you fancy, guys, please make sure you go and do that for us and get us, man. We're friendly people. We want to talk boxing with all you guys. Flowz, long weekend over here in the UK. Hope you've been good. Hope you're rested. Hope you're ready to talk some boxing, bro.
Yeah, man. How are you?
Yeah, man. I'm good. Yeah, big weekend for boxing, right? A lot of major names that we can talk about. A lot of, big fights. We've probably got to take, in fact, we have to. Let's take it day by day. Friday, huge card in Madison Square Garden. No, not Madison Square Garden. Sorry, it was in Times Square, New York.
Yeah, Times Square.
Open air, like I said last week, open air, Times Square. Listeners, if you've been to New York, you know what Times Square is like. So to have them put it on there, I would say it's quite the feat, Flowz. I mean, we've never seen it before, right?
Yeah.
Like an open air Times Square card. So it's interesting how they did it.
It's strange as well, because...
Yeah, what are your thoughts on just the way they set it up? Because it looked like they had the ring in the middle, right? And then they erected some sort of like barrier around just the area to cordon it off. So it wasn't like open air in terms of as a random member of a public. I don't think you could just walk past and be in shots of like the cameras or whatnot, because they kind of had it policed off, right? If I'm not mistaken.
So my understanding is they allowed some seated area in that corner, but it was invite only. So it's like celebrities in there.
Yeah, you saw the VIP celeb row. Yeah.
So it's just VIP seated area. I can't remember how many they sectioned off. So maybe it looks like maybe a few hundred, 100 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the TVs, the screens around Times Square showing it for free. So there was people queued up on the streets.
Yes.
Times Square is always busy anyway, but people queued up in the streets watching it on the big screens around Times Square. So the whole area was pretty much shut down with boxing fans, it looks like.
Crazy.
And
to be fair.
We see there weren't no ring walks, people getting driven
into it, yeah.
Driven to the fight. So we're seeing the fighters in the car.
And the fans are there at the gates, right? Trying to yeah.
So it all seemed very strange, and I'm scratching my head. People asking me how they even making bread off this if there's no gate, there's no they're airing it for free.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, His Excellency is what I put it down to. Yeah,
look, I mean, I'm not mad that the attempt of a concept, right? Because it's something different, and it's I mean, you can call it innovative. I don't even want to call it, but it's unique. We've never seen anything like that. So I'm not mad at the attempt. It was quite odd to me though, bro. I don't know if you could, I mean, it gave me watching the card. Obviously, I don't think the quality of the fights helped, which we'll get into. But overall, it was given to me lockdown, matchroom back. You know what I mean? It was giving that sort of feeling to me. Kind of. It didn't feel, the same energy and vibrancy that you have with boxing crowds and how they get into it. That was kind of stripped away from it. I thought, watching it from my TV laptop screen, it didn't seem to have that same vibrancy, that energy. It was felt like very much like a matchroom HQ card in that sense, so, as we saw during lockdown. So if the vibe was off for me from there already.
Yeah, I hear that. There was no real atmosphere. Yeah, and you're hearing car sirens and car horns, which was throwing me off. But I guess, the quality of the fights weren't great, so it's easy to find distractions elsewhere.
That being, exactly. Well. Segue. That being said, obviously, despite the setup, I'm still anticipating in my eyes at the time, like, okay, cool. These are 3 good fights. We know all these fighters. We've seen these fighters over the years. Very well known to us. we should be, treated to a nice night's sport for boxing, right? So we kick off proceedings with the fight that is only world title fight on the card, right? That's Teofimo versus Arnold Barboza Jr., which is crazy to think that this world title fight is really third on the bill, if we're keeping it a buck. But such as the star power of Mr. Ryan Garcia. But Teofimo, Arnold Barboza Jr., obviously Barboza, as we can see, has worked his way up nicely to become mandatory for Teofimo's WBO belt at 140 pounds. There's a bit of history back and forth needed between the two of them. I think Barboza said he's been chasing Teo for a long time, and it's finally, gets his chance to, to take what's his. And Teo has just been the typical Teo self throughout this build-up, bro. I can't lie. It's just been weird. I caught some of the final presser, and I'm seeing this guy in the luchador mask. And I said to myself, yeah, Teo's on that type of time. Teo is weird, man. He just... Yeah. I think Teo tries to play into obviously he's he tries to be this charismatic kind of, fan-friendly kind of guy to try and sell fights and boost his profile. Sometimes I feel like he tries too hard, if you ask me. But look, my thing with Teo is, look, I don't care what you do, just be focused. Because when you're focused, we know what you can do. So we both kind of said that this is actually a tough fight for him, right? Maybe even... I don't know, did we go as far to say it was a 50-50? I can't remember, but we said it was a tough fight.
No, we said if Teo performs.
Yeah, we said if Teo performs, we should win. Yeah. But that's the issue. We don't know what Teo you get sometimes, right? Yeah. Is it going to be a Kambosos, Sandor Martin Teo, or is it going to be a Josh Taylor, Lomachenko Teo? Safe to say, bro, that from the first round, you could see that Teofimo was switched on this fight. And to be honest... not very hard, but quite easily, bro. I can give him performance of the night. Teofimo. He was good in there. When I've said it many times in this pod, bro, when Teofimo's in the zone, there are a few better around these weight classes than him. Beautiful slick boxing, fighting behind the jab, very athletic, quick counter puncher. He can fight in the myriad of styles, Teofimo. He can be in the back foot counter punching, or he can be on the front foot. And he was, as I said, switched on throughout the entire fight. And to be honest, bro, I'll be so real. I was disappointed in Arnold Barboza Jr. I've seen him box a lot. I don't know if you can put it down to just Teo being so great, but to me, bro, it seemed like the lights were too bright for Arnold Barboza Jr. This is his moment, bro. This is the moment that he's worked hard for. He's been calling out Teofimo for a number of years. He's gone through tough opposition from Jose Ramirez to beating Jack Catterall, who we fancied, obviously. Beat him in Manchester comfortably as well, deservedly so. This is where you show that, okay, cool. All this talk I've been doing, all this grinding after these years, this is my moment. I just think the lights were too bright, bro. And we've seen it before in fighters, man. When the lights are on, there's a big stage. Some fighters rise to the occasion. Other fighters, the lights go dim. And I was just disappointed in Barboza Jr., bro. I felt like it was a flat performance. He played into Teo's game. And Teo kind of had his way with him, in my opinion. But, yeah, what are your thoughts on, I guess, the fight itself, bro, and Barboza's performance overall?
Yeah, I thought superb performance by Teo. I have to give him credit first and foremost. From round one, he looked super sharp. I liked his punch selection. I liked the jab he was using. He was fluid, controlled the distance well. Upper body movement, reflexes. All of that was flowing. Going to the body early. He was investing there. Impressive. Very impressive performance for Teo. Yeah. I saw people say that that's the best they've seen him. I wouldn't go as far as to say that. But you can arguably say... Yeah, it was loving the performance. Yeah. And you could say that that's maybe his more... Because he was even flexing in portions.
He was
flexing in portions, so that adds a bit of... That shows a bit of a skill gap already if you're doing that. I don't think he had the opportunity to flex against a Lomachenko or...
He flexed a little bit against Taylor. He did start flexing a little bit against Taylor. Yeah.
He was treating Taylor as well.
I thought Tayl's performance was his best, to be honest, but yeah. But
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. Carry on. This is a good performance.
This was a very good performance. You could put it top three
Mm.
tier performances easily.
Mm-hmm.
Barboza Jr. He actually did come to fight. He had some success, and I think that success came from Tio maybe flexing a bit too much and taking his foot off the gas a bit. But Tio had it easy in there, man. He was making him miss. He was putting his guard down. He was you allow the guy to start flexing, you're not doing enough then. And he could have got closer to him, pressed him a bit more. He was throwing some wild shots in there, missing as well. But he did have some success, so I won't be as critical as you. I just think that the skill gap was clear. Look,
well, Barboza was killing me in there, bro, because he was acting like he was winning rounds.
He was,
he was pump faking. He was pump faking big time. Like, he was doing it a lot, by the way, and it was actually annoying me a little bit. I said to myself, you clearly didn't win that round. But after every, like, a good 4 or 5 times, bro, the second half of the fight, this guy will raise his fist in the corner, and I'm there thinking, what are you doing? You haven't won that round.
He was getting washed, and he knows it. He was just pretending. Yeah. There's no way he thought he was winning any rounds. He was getting washed. Look, we could even say that Barboza, we didn't really expect him to get to be a champion. This far. We could say that he's impressed us. His last few fights.
Credit's due, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we could say that. He's a good fighter, and it's unfortunate that he caught this version of Tio. That's what we can say. He's unlucky because this version of Tio beats damn near everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he wants to perform like this, it's very hard to beat. So he's just unlucky in that sense. Yeah. Now, he could come back, maybe get another opportunity. But yeah, this is the Tio that we need to be seeing. It's what I think.
Yeah. What I love about Tio as well, that against Taylor, for example, he was a smaller man. Against Barboza, clearly a smaller man as well. Barboza looked quite a bit bigger than him in there. Yeah. But Tio is someone that, despite having disadvantages in maybe reach, his jab is so good when it wants to be, he will always out-jab his opponent. Like, it's cold. I think just because of his speed and his timing is so good, he can always win the battle of the jabs despite being at a disadvantage reach-wise. And we saw that against Barboza as well. He was jabbing him and leading off with the jab, and it was varied, it was sharp, it was spiteful in portions, it was flicked out to the body, to the head. Yeah, man, great jab. And obviously, as we said on this pod many times, when the jab is flowing, that's the foundation you build off. So, yeah, definitely a top performance on Teofimo. No complaints there. That's what we want to see all the time from him. And I'm happy he was focused and showed out. Afterwards, obviously, Tio's talked about how, straight away he's mentioned about 147 and going to 147. Joining, obviously, Devin and Ryan and Rolly there. And he's called out Boots specifically. Now, obviously, I think he's called out Boots before, from what I remember.
Yeah, I think he has.
He's mentioned his name before, and before I thought to myself, he's pump faking. He won't know Boots, but clearly he does want Boots. I don't know, but thoughts on that fight, bro? I mean, is that who you would like to see him take on next, or would you still like to see him stick around at 140? Because we know there's people at 135 that have called him out. There's still other fighters at 140 as well. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Teofimo versus Boots next, or at some point?
Look, if they make it happen, that's a good fight. But Boots wins. Boots is too big.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna break down skill.
Yeah,
Boots is too big. It's too big. But when you see Teofimo performing like that, you kind of get gassed and think, yeah, this guy can do it all. But we have to remember what Boots can do.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about skill now. We got to remember what Boots can do.
Yeah.
Boots might treat him. So
yeah.
I my thoughts on people moving weights too frequently.
Yeah.
Especially when Boots is already a weight bully.
Yeah.
In that weight. So that would be my preference, is as simple as that. I'd rather see Tio unify and fight the guys who've been calling on him to fight. Now, 2 of them have moved up to 147. So if you're going to move up to 147, face them.
Yeah.
But last episode, we already talked about. It's the last episode where I said none of them should see Boots. They need to wait until he gets out of the way.
Yeah.
So I'd rather see him fight them, man. I'd rather see him even face a Keyshawn Davis before Boots.
Yep.
That's my preference.
I'm fully in agreement with you, bro. I've been calling for Tio Devin for a long time. I think the world has as well. We know they know each other very well. Build up with the dads would be great as well. So Tio Devin, I've been shopping for a long time. But yeah, I'd rather see Keyshawn Tio rather than Tio Boots. None of these man, in my opinion, should have Boots' name in their mouth. If I'm them, head down, beat each other up, wait for this guy to leave the division. Then they can start, talking smoke at the 147. I get it. He's seen as the guy in the division. Maybe you want to challenge himself, be great. Fair play. Fights are made like that. And, you get Boots against one of these guys. Fair play. I will tune in. I will big up the fight. But in my opinion, it serves them in their best interest to avoid Boots for now. Wait for him to bounce, which he will. He's not going to stay 147 forever. As you said, he's a weight bully. He needs to go up to 54 soon. And then they can get it cracking, in my opinion. But, yeah. Well done, Tio. No complaints once again. Good performance. Fight number 2, bro. Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. Now, last week, bro, I asked, I said, what Haney are we going to get based on the PTSD from Ryan Garcia? And I said, I think he's going to go back. I think you said it as well, where we're likely going to see Devin Haney maybe not be so offensive, obviously, a la the performance against Lomachenko or Regis, but we're going to go back to the more cautious, slick outside fighter Devin Haney, right?
Yeah, well, we got it spot on, man.
Bro, we did, but bro, yeah, we did get it spot on. However, I did not anticipate that.
Yeah, you went way overboard.
And listeners, by that, I mean that we've seen Devin Haney return and give us the most negative, scared, cautious performance that I've ever seen in my life. Bro, it was bad. On record, this was 70 fight punches were landed. I think, as in Devin landed 70 punches or 70 punches overall in the entire fight? I can't remember. Something ridiculous like that. This was a fight for lean action. It was bad, bro. There was nothing happening. And it's on Devin. Let's be real. It's on Devin Haney. Because...
You can say Ramirez...
But Ramirez is washed, though. We've said that Ramirez is over the hoop. Ramirez is over the hoop.
That's partly why it's his fault, because he's washed.
Ramirez can only do what he can do. He's limited, in a sense.
Yeah.
But the fact is, Jose Ramirez was there for Devin Haney all night in front of him for him to attack, batter, cook, treat, as you predicted.
Yeah.
But Devin Haney didn't want to engage, was backing off constantly, didn't want to throw punches, obviously he was making my man miss, but there was barely anything coming back. And yes, he won the fight clearly, but it was an absolute stinker to watch based on the fact that Devin Haney was overly cautious. And we have to, quite clearly, Ryan Garcia might have done... Ryan Garcia has clearly done irreparable damage to Devin Haney. And his psyche, because clearly the demons are still there, bro. I mean, it's quite clear.
Yeah. You asked the question last week, will the demons still be there?
I do it, man.
I know those demons are haunting him because he was reacting to everything, getting out of there, flinching constantly, backing off. He was scared out his mind in that ring. He just didn't want to get touched. He didn't want to get hit. He didn't want to have his legs go, because the Ryan fight, he got caught in the first round and he done a dance.
First round, yeah.
And you can see that in this one. He did not want to get touched at all. Now, look, he could say the eye is hit or not get hit, but you were scared. There was no art to it. You were scared. And like I said last episode, Ramirez ain't gonna do nothing to Devin. Devin's gonna treat him. And what's funny is Devin did treat him with that performance. Even with him being so fearful, barely throwing, he washed him. But he could have done serious. It could have been a super impressive performance where he stepped to him, threw out the jab more, hit him with a 1-2, thrown him some combinations. He could have really beat up Ramirez in there. But because of his fear, and that's what it was.
It was fear.
Yeah. It's fear. He didn't want to get touched. He didn't want to get hurt again. He put out a performance like that. And
look, bro, in my opinion, it's a massive missed opportunity for Devin Haney.
Yeah.
I say that because everyone like us had questions about, what's he going to be like on his return? Because what Ryan Garcia did to him was bad. We saw it. We now have confirmed and probably have more questions that, the psyche's not right yet. He's not back at all. There's still a lot of work to be done. Or he might never recover. Because, you can't be fighting scared, bro. Especially against an opponent that you are clearly levels above. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, Jose Ramirez, bless him, was basic. It's not the same Jose Ramirez from time ago who was a dual world unified champion at 140 pounds.
Yeah.
He's a far cry from that, as we can see. He hasn't got many fights left in him. And he wasn't doing anything special. Standing right in front of Devin, kind of plodding forward.
Not throwing.
Not really throwing, to be honest. It was a poor performance from Jose Ramirez, but again, I expect as someone that is over the hill, as we've said. There was maybe a couple times when Devin shows flashes of, the old Devin with the 1-2 combination, the counter punching, and it's like you can clearly see it's there for you, bro. Just go for it. But I'm there thinking hopefully second half he gets more confidence. He's able to, build on it. Nope. And you're seeing it memed now, obviously. I don't know if you've seen that the first round sped up when it's just so funny. So funny. So funny. Like it was an awful, bro, horrible fight to watch. Horrible.
Yeah, I was falling asleep, man. It was that bad.
Me too.
And I think to where we see the scared AJ, this was worse than that. Or the scared AJ performance we saw, this was much worse than that.
Yeah.
We look at how I'm starting to envision him versus the Tank now. And you fighting scared against Tank?
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I mean, it was a wrap before, but it's a wrap now.
You're getting stopped.
Yeah.
You saw Frank Martin fight with a bit of fear in his heart. And how Tank...
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The fear is what got Frank. Because Frank was doing great before, right? Yeah.
You saw a bit of fear creeping, and it was a wrap from there.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Devin like, Devin, you've won, but you dare not talk after this. I don't want to hear you go on interviews talking trash,
because
calling out people.
He talks smack. He does talk. Him and Bill.
Talks bare.
And Bill's the biggest culprit, but yeah.
You can't afford to now.
Yeah.
Because of this, we've seen you're scared. You're scared, Devin. So
Flowz,
you can't get on the net against confidence.
Flowz, do you think Devin can recover?
Yeah, he might be able to. He's got to show us. You don't show us on the internet. Don't tweet. You just don't do interviews, talking crud. You have to go back in the fight. Because that's what I was expecting. I expected him to build confidence in that fight.
Yeah, round by round, right?
And then eventually start to go back to, I'm going to sit down on my punches and get you out of there.
Yeah.
Like we saw against Regis.
Yep.
I'm more confident. He didn't get him out of there, but we saw him confident in.
Cooked him.
Yeah, I just don't want to see Devin drop. Yeah, it was a bad performance, and I don't want to see him try to talk tough.
That Devin goes up against any killer, it's over, bro. It's fully over. You can't be fighting scared against certain opposition. So yeah, I don't even know. I was so disgusted with the fight. I didn't even listen to any post-fight interviews. I don't know if he was happy with the performance or not. But yeah, we know one person who was happy with the performance. Antonio Tarver was livid.
Yeah.
On comms, he was absolutely killing me. He was disgusted. He was sending shots at the Haneys all night. There must be beef there because he was fuming with that performance and cooking him. Deservedly so as well.
Split opinion. I saw people fuming at the zone commentary, saying Devin's doing the right thing here.
Yeah. A lot of people saying don't get Tarver on again. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw people defending Haney's performance, saying he's outboxing it. Yeah, he was, but you're fighting scared. It's as simple as that.
It's a difference, right? It's a difference.
When there's no need to fight scared against Ramirez.
Yeah.
This version of Ramirez anyway.
Yeah. Just a really bad performance from Devin, man, and he put everyone to sleep. And you saw who was in the crowd and people, his peers in the crowd. He's Shakur's there, Richardson, Hitchens. These are, obviously guys that he's had needle with, other boxers as well. They might be looking at him like thinking, yo, this is food for me now. Like Ben was in, he's had needle with Ben. 140. Ben's probably looking at his chops as well. Yeah, man. I'll be serious. Ben's probably thinking, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's peak.
It was not a good performance, boy. At all.
And he's already got the boring tag. They've already slapped him with that. It's the hard tag to shake.
Just on Shakur. Just on Shakur. Yeah. Nah, I'll be intrigued. Watching his next fight very closely, bro. Very, very closely, because that was very, very worrying to me. That fear that you could see in his eyes, super worrying. So I'll be watching his next opponent very, very closely. Segue, speaking of next opponent, the person that he was due to fight next, I don't know if the fight's still going to go ahead or not, but obviously it was slated if Devin wins and Ryan Garcia wins in the main event, then we're going to get that rematch straight away. Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, Flowz. Is this even upset of the, is this going to be mentioned as upset of the year? I don't even know. It might do,
It might have to be.
I think it might have to be. But yeah, Ryan Garcia has lost to Rolando Romero. Rollies, as he calls him. He's lost to Rollies. And, bro, we criticized Devin Haney's for performance. Ryan Garcia has to get all the smoke too, to be honest, as well. Yeah. Just as much smoke. Getting outboxed by Rollies is crazy to me. Bro, no. When you deep it, it's crazy.
Boxed.
I've had people say I'm being harsh on Rollies. He's not that good, man. He's not that good. He's not that good. Yeah. Maybe I'm being harsh. I don't know. But to me, and in other boxing circles, Rollies is seen as a bit of a joke, man. Let's be real, bro. Am I being harsh? Yeah. He's seen as a joke, man.
He is.
Even to his peers, he's seen as a joke, man. So, for Ryan Garcia to come back and look that bad against him, and I kid you not, he got outboxed by Rollies. Ryan Garcia has felt the power, because look, one thing about Rollies that we know is a fact. Everyone has said it. The boy can bang. He's strong. He's strong. He hits very hard. So, yeah. I think every Rollies opponent has acknowledged that he hits very, very hard. Yeah, Taggart said he hits it the hardest. Garcia said before. Yeah. So, Ryan Garcia has felt that power in the second round where he's been dropped. Rollies has dropped him. And the moment he felt that power, bro, Ryan Garcia didn't want this fight anymore. I'm saying he didn't want any parts of the fight anymore. He was, in my opinion, similar to Devin, fighting scared after that. Didn't want to know no more, didn't really want to engage. And he just allowed Rollies to just have his way with him, outbox him, out-tough him, out-strength him, out-everything him. And it was a sorry sight to see, bro. Sorry sight. And yeah, man, what an awful comeback performance from Ryan Garcia. And obviously, you look at the optics. We last saw out against Devin Haney where he's destroyed Devin. We saw what happened afterwards. He pissed hot. He's now not pissed hot. He's pissed cold. And the performance is that. Boy. Yeah. The way the Haney's, even though their performance was terrible, they still been vindicated by that. Because, right, he was shocking, bro. Shocking performance. Really, really bad performance, man. Yeah. It's mad.
Yeah. It was another boring fight.
Awful fight, yeah.
Caught life with the knockdown. And it looked like, okay, maybe we'll see some urgency now. And I think we did for the remainder of the round when there was a bit of action. And then it went right back to nothingness again. So we thought we'd see some silliness and some drama and high action, some wrestling. Yeah. Other than the second round, the knockdown, which came from like a double left hook. By Rollies, which cracked me up because you're getting dropped already, man, again, without the pens in your system, you're touching the cap. Yeah, I laughed.
But then still touching that canvas. Still touching that canvas.
Fair.
Yeah.
And I thought we've seen Ryan get off the canvas before. I refer back to the Luke Campbell fight.
Yep.
I'm going to stop Campbell.
Yep.
So I'm thinking he's going to get up the action here, but he didn't. And you're thinking, okay, maybe he can. It's the second round. There's enough rounds to outbox Rollies. Didn't even do that.
Yeah.
Didn't even do that, and he let it. It wasn't high action, so I don't even know what to say. But Rollies outboxed him, and we have previously given Rollies credit against Tank, where he was boxing pretty well.
Yeah.
Early on. But we've seen him struggle against Barboza after that, where he should have lost. Stops by Pitbull Cruz. Now Pitbull's stock's gonna go up again. They're gonna gas Pitbull. They're gonna gas Pitbull. They're gonna gas Tank now. Say, look, Rollies was
the tank. Yeah. Oh, yuck.
Every one of Tank's opponents who goes on to achieve any success, they're gonna use that to boost Tank's.
Yeah.
And that's what they're gonna do here. They're gonna see, Rollies is a problem. And Pitbull Cruz is they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Fair. Go on. Well done, Ryan.
Fair play.
Well done, Ryan. So look, I don't know where Ryan Garcia goes from here. If he's shipping performances like that without them pins in his system, because that's the difference, really. I saw him trying to find excuses.
Without shooting some bell, how much you attribute to ring rust? Obviously, he's been out for about a year due to the ban. You know what? I don't even care. Yeah, he has been out for a year, but he was scared in there. After he got dropped, he didn't want to know anymore. And that's more worrying. Do you know what I mean? That's worrying. And I feel, look, Derek James can't get any luck because they're already onto him for just his past history. But Derek was trying the hard, bro. I'm listening to Derek in the corner. He's trying so hard to instruct Ryan, to G him up. Like, this is probably the most... Derek James is a very mellow, chilled character. This is probably the most animated I've ever seen him. To try and get Ryan to do something, and Ryan Garcia was just not responding to anything at all. So, I think Ryan Garcia has to ask serious questions of himself in terms of what does he want to be a boxer? Does he want to stay in this game or not? If he doesn't want it no more, bro, we've said it before. If you don't want it, get out. You know, Jared Anderson, we said, if you don't want it, bounce. So yeah, I think he's got to ask those hard questions, bro. Those serious, hard questions. Does he still want this or not? Because we said before, the talent is there. The attributes are there. But yeah, obviously, Devin thing was silly, piss hot. He was drinking, he was doing drugs. And yeah, he's come back clean, obviously, for this one and supposedly focus. Don't know if he was. But you shouldn't be getting outboxed and out everything by Rollies, in my opinion, personally, for me. So, yeah, man, just an awful performance. A back-to-back stinker of a fight.
Yeah, look, I don't know for Ryan Garcia, after his antics in the last fight.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really pay too much attention. I saw the face-off they had. It was funny. Yeah, I don't know what he's on. I just don't know what he's on. So we'll see if he wants to stick about, if he wants to fight next. Credit to Ryan.
Yeah.
He hasn't ducked no one. He's never ducked anyone. He's always put himself in the mix.
Yeah.
So he's a name. He'll get opportunities to bounce back.
Yeah.
he's just got to be focused.
Yeah. And I'm not too sure the focus is there right now. So yeah, some hard questions needed from his camp. But yeah, fair play to Rollies. You know, he looked at home at 147, to be honest. He's always been like a strong, stocky kind of fighter. Jim Lampley was adoring him. Bit too much of my liking, but yeah, Jim Lampley was moving mad, to be honest. But
His
yeah,
muscles.
kept talking about his muscles, man. Like, damn, Jim. But yeah, nah, fair play to Rollies, man. So he's at 147 now. Don't really care who he fights, to be fair, but that's elevated him. That's a huge win for him, and yeah, so he's not had a bad career, bro. World champion, career win over Ryan Garcia. Like he's had a decent career still. And he's still young enough, so I mean he can improve for sure.
We had him on our prospect list once upon a time. He grabbed the belt.
You put him on.
But
remember, we kicked him off though because he got expelled. I think he was the first one to get expelled.
Yeah. Was that before or after he won the belt? Anyway, the reason why he got in there was because the sparring stories we've seen, because that's how he's made. And his mouth, well, the way he's been talking.
Yeah.
He was talking crazy, putting himself in the mix and stopping people. He was stopping a lot of people.
He was. Yeah.
So it was more prove yourself. And look, like you say, his career isn't panning out to be a bad one.
Yeah, at all. For someone that's a bit limited, he's had a great career.
Yeah.
But look, Flowz, let's talk about the card overall, because when we look at it, how we've gone from the week before, both me and you on our feet, applauding, shouting, jumping, gripping each other, even just in excitement I'm talking about the Conor Ben Chris Eubank fight. To go from that to, I'll be honest, this card on paper was more. Remember, we didn't like the Chris Eubank Conor Ben fight.
Yeah.
This card on paper is like, cool, I like this card here. Great card. All good fights, all good fighters that we're going to see. We'll get the entertainment with Rollies and Ryan Garcia. We'll see Devin, come back on smoke. And Teofimo Barboza is a tough fight for both guys. Bro, this card stunk. Stunk. If you look at overall, like I said, the atmosphere was flat due to the Times Square thing. The fights didn't, even the Teofimo fight, even though it was a great fight from Teofimo, it wasn't the best because Teofimo kind of washed Barboza. The Haney and the Garcia fight were bad, dull affairs to watch. Overall, just wasn't a great card at all to watch. And it's a damn shame because you'd think that with those names on that card, the talent level, it should have been more of a success. But I guess His Excellency, not everything's going to bang, right? You're going to have duds here and there. So far, most of the Riyadh season cards have been good, but it's just unfortunate. This was such a high-profile one, and it fell flat for us. I'm assuming you had the same thoughts as well on the card overall.
Yeah, boring. Stayed up for it. Was barely asleep throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah, just didn't catch fire. And I guess you need dance partners. You need the right dance partners. You need the right atmosphere. That's what we got with Ben Eubank. And blood. So that all adds a factor.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these men were fighting scared and had previous things they were worried about.
Yeah.
Worst Riyadh season card, I think. It's fair to say.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Seeing, I guess, who was in the crowd and just the interactions between the other boxers in the crowd was more interesting to me than the actual card. And Conor Ben's stock is actually it's through the roof right now, man. The way that he was getting love in New York, I was parading around, sitting there in the VIP row with everyone else. Bro, everyone's like Clarissa Shields taking photos of him. His stock went up, boy, big time. So fair play.
Both of them. That was a legit event.
Yeah,
a legit
the Americans. I clocked obviously when after the fight. I'm looking at the American Twitter and stuff like that, the boxing Twitter. They absolutely adored that. They were bigging up massively. It's one of the even the actual boxers as well. Like Clarissa Fulton was bigging up the fight. Other fighters in America were big up. It was a great fight, man. Great fight.
Huge fight.
I'll give it props again.
So shout out to them, man.
Yeah, for sure. All right, bro. Okay, cool. So 24 hours later, bro, another Riyadh season card in Saudi. Cinco de Mayo weekend. So obviously we know Canelo is going to be in action. This was also a packed card, to be fair. Let's go with the main event, Flowz, and we'll quickly touch upon the undercard afterwards. But main event headlined Canelo, his first fight in Saudi, versus William Scull, Cuban fighter fighting out of Germany. This was for undisputed, obviously. This is Canelo's old belt that he was looking to get back. I've never seen Scull fight, to be fair, but knowing that he was a Cuban, I kind of anticipated what he was going to come with. And, bro, he fought exactly how I thought he was going to fight. This is like Guillermo Rigondeaux on Peds, basically. Like, this is like a 168-pound version of Rigondeaux, bro. It basically was. Scull was moving throughout the entire fight. And can I just say, the movement was amazing, by the way. The movement was fantastic. But again, unfortunately, this fight did not take off. Styles make fights, as we know. And I actually have criticism for both fighters, Canelo and Scull. My critique of Skull's tactics were simple, really. Move throughout the entire fight, not let Canelo pin him down, and flick out the jab here and there, pot shot Canelo. And if Canelo is able to get him against the ropes, fire 2 quick counters, spin off the ropes, and carry on salsering away. That was Skull's game plan. And you can argue and say that in portions, the game plan was working. Making Canelo miss, making Canelo look silly, outlanding Canelo in some rounds because he's so hard to hit and he's been able to pot shot every now and again. And there were times where he was caught, the body work, Canelo started to go bang into the body, so there were times where he was getting caught and whatnot. But ultimately, it was a hard fight to watch based on the fact that Scull was fighting so negatively. We'll talk about whether it's negative or not. And Canelo wasn't able to land too tough or get into a flow based on Skull's tactics. Now, there's been a bit of a debate in terms of obviously the way Scull fought and whether or not, you know, it brings any fruition, or should the cards, score cards have been closer, what kind of stuff. My thing is this year, right, Flowz? I get the need to be elusive in the ring, and we talk about hit and not get hit. And again, similar to what we discussed with the Devin Haney fight, that is technically hitting and not getting hit. But in a fight of this magnitude and this caliber, it's very hard, in my opinion, to pot shot your way to victory against someone like a Canelo, who is obviously going to be the aggressor, the one on the front foot, the one controlling the pace, the one that is winning the story of the fight. Judges are just not going to see it that way. And I think overall, Canelo did outland him overall, but it was very close. It was very, very marginal. And there were times when I thought the things that Scull was doing was great. As in terms of he was making Canelo miss and countering superbly. But in this type of fight of this magnitude, you have to follow up on that work. He was content to land those 2 punches of the round and then get on his back. And it's like the opportunity is there for you to bang him again, go again. But nope, quick two punch counter, move, salsa away. So you're not going to beat Canelo, and you're not going to rip the belts from a champion in that way, bro. It's not going to happen. And yeah, it got to the point where I think a lot of people were getting frustrated with the tactics. They called him a runner, track star. Sergio Moro on comms was livid, bro. He was cooking him, absolutely cooking him, saying this is not how to win. You're a prize fighter. You're meant to put bums on seats. This is not how you get the crowd in your favor and the judges in your favor. Scull was loving it though. He was smiling. He was laughing all the time. He was absolutely, bro. He was loving it. He was killing me, to be honest, because he was there dancing, smiling.
Every time he landed a shot, he smiled.
I promise you, he was salsering there. It was too funny. Now, the critique I have for Canelo, bro, is you've got to cut the ring off better. Simple. In my opinion, Canelo didn't cut the ring off very well. I think Canelo was a bit flat-footed for my liking. He allowed Scull to escape so many times. Was a bit too predictable. I think Canelo, if he cut the ring off better in that fight, it would have made for, I guess, a better viewing. But overall, bro, I think I scored it in favor of Canelo, even though it was a close fight, obviously due to Skull's tactics. But Canelo to me did land the better shots overall, even though I thought like, well, he did a lot of good body work too, even though Skull landed some nice shots too. But yeah, man, I think if Skull was a bit more positive, it would have made for a better fight and he would have more of a justification in people saying that, oh, maybe he actually took some more rounds of Canelo or could have stolen the fight, maybe. But yeah, Skull was just there to survive and dance while doing it.
Yeah, look, I saw a lot of people saying, I saw a lot of people saying they thought Scull won and outboxed Canelo. I'm not sure if they're Canelo haters or such,
I can see what
but
I
we've seen this type of performance have success against Canelo, where in fact, I've got a record that said this is your best bet at beating Canelo in the sense that
you're
not going to go machine for machine with him.
Yeah.
Well, to a certain weight class, at least. Anything below 160, not really, unless you're a special kind of fighter.
Bivol.
Yeah. Well, Bivol's what, what's it called?
175. Yeah,
175. 175. So he can do, and even then he was more evasive as well. But the problem with employing this tactic is Canelo's always going to have enough success.
Yeah.
For the judges to give it to him.
Yeah.
He's gonna have it. He's not gonna just get washed unless you're special. Yeah. But he's gonna have enough success going to the body, throwing those shots, bigger shots, pinning you on the ropes, landing a few. So even if you're put shot in and moving and making a miss, like we saw with Plant, like we saw with Billy Joe Saunders, where they were trying to box a move. He had enough success and caught them. Even Kovalev, well, Kovalev wasn't moving as much, but Kovalev was boxing him. They still find enough there to give it to him.
Yeah.
So, Scull trying to employ this and thinking they're going to give it to him is, likely. I think he was just hoping for some controversy in the hope that, people would argue his case.
Yeah.
But another dullish fight. Look, I'm looking at it, and once again, I'm just going to say it for the listeners. Canelo shouldn't really even be here, man.
Size difference, right?
Yeah, it's annoying to watch, but he's the one backing them up, and they're the ones running from him. But you just see the size difference, and you just think this is ridiculous. Which I guess comes off to the announcement that was made.
Yeah. Before we get on to the announcement, I mean, just talk on Skull's performances again, but obviously Skull's a Cuban, right? So we know what the Cuban school of boxing is, and it pretty much is kind of is that. To be fair, that's the style. Very evasive, pot shotty. They can make you look stupid and cook you, but they're not the most, let's say, aggressive front foot fighters. If you compare it to like Mexican style, right, where they're front foot aggressive, the Cuban style is completely different. It's on the back foot, counter punching, slick defensive work, higher emphasis, I think, on the defensive work.
Yeah,
like I said, we've seen Rigondeaux do it to high success. Scull is clearly a good boxer. Like I think Scull will show me that he's got very good ability. You're Cuban, so I'm not surprised. But when Canelo fought Erislandy Lara, which is a fight that I've said many times, I think Canelo lost that fight.
Yeah.
Lara was similar, but at least the difference was Lara was more offensive with it. He would take those kind of opportunities and throw 2, 3, 4 punch combinations, then get out of there. Whereas Scull was content in throwing that one shot, 1, 2 max, that's it. Lara, I think, showed more offensive nous, in my opinion, compared to Scull, which is why I gave that fight to Lara. So there is a way to employ the Cuban style and still be quite offensive with it, but it just depends on the fight, I suppose. But Canelo, I know he's not going to like fighting Cubans, to be honest, because it's a style that is, I guess, the antithesis of what he is, isn't it? So that sort of hit and not get hit, back foot, negative style. But he got the win, and obviously I'm watching it, and straight away I'm trying to hear the interviews and whatnot, but I hear Turkey say, "Can you clear the ring? Clear the ring now." Like Turkey's come in and said cleared. I'm like, bro, I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I'm waiting because I actually want to hear from Scull. Turkey said, everyone leave the ring now. I said, Then I've seen who's in the crowd. Camera price. It's Bud. Okay, cool. Bud's coming now, and obviously we know this fight is coming. But yeah, that's the official announcement now. Head to head, I think is it September 12th or sometime in September in Las Vegas. I think it was Canelo versus Bud. It's official. I was intrigued to see what was going to happen in terms of weight classes, and it's confirmed that it's not going to be a catch weight. Bud is going to go up to 168 pounds and challenge Canelo for the fight. I mean, for the undisputed super middleweight titles. No, it's funny, bro, because obviously it's not a fight. We've said it before. We've talked about this fight before. We're not biggest fans of this fight. But watching that performance from Canelo, I don't say it's a flat performance from Canelo, but I felt like I said he could have done a lot of things better. In my head, at the time, I said to myself, you know what? Bud can do it, Bud can do it. I think Canelo's going to rightly start as the favorite. He should be. The weight difference is an issue, a huge issue. But if there's anyone that can do it, I mean, you're looking at the face-to-face, Bud's bigger than him in terms of height.
Yeah.
He's taller than him.
Yeah.
And he's got longer arms, longer reach. If there's anyone that can do it, Bud can. But we'll preview that properly. But yeah. But Bud, I think, can do it. But I'm not going to say he will. Not yet, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Bud's,
the fight's happening.
It's the madman to do it.
That chip on his shoulder, right?
Yeah. He's got the talent too. We've talked about it before. If we're talking skill for skill, we're going Bud.
He's more skilled.
Really.
He's more
skilled. Bud, really. So
and we can see Bud has pop. He hits hard.
Yeah, that's the thing. Every time we thought, Bud's moving up in weight. He went up to welterweight and stopped everyone.
Brother.
He went up to welterweight and stopped everyone. Now, who did he fight? Was it Madrimov before?
Madrimov, yeah.
And then people were umming and ahhing and questioning that performance. But Madrimov is a solid fighter.
Madrimov is good. Very good. Yeah.
But that was at 154. Now moving up to 168, that's a jump, bro.
Bro, he's had one fight at 154. And he's now going to 168. That is what I don't like about this. I don't like it at all, mate. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, but he's fighting a Canelo. Here we are. He's fighting Canelo, who shouldn't even be at 168. So it's too overblown weights. It's too overblown. The only issue is that he's not really been operating at that weight ever.
Canelo's been there for a while now. If you think about it, Canelo's been there for a long time now. So he's used to the solidness of it. Yeah.
So that's why we accept Canelo as a bona fide 168, even though he's not 160, let's say. That's how I view him. So there's a lot of question marks. Let's say 154. But like we say, this is someone Bud fought at 135 and is bigger dimension, height and reach than Canelo.
Yeah.
So it's their talent that's got them to where this position really. So
and that's what pound for pound is, right? We said, you move through the weight class, your talent shows for each weight class. That's what pound. This fight is a pound for pound matchup dream. Let's be real.
Yeah.
This is what the pound for pound thing exists for.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that we agree with it per se, but yeah, this is a matchup dream in that sense. And look, it's still not the fight I want to see Canelo fight, but it is what it is at this point. We know he's not going to fight, bro. So yeah, probably even. I mean, huh?
Well, I was very much against it, but what Eubank and Ben gave us. In a fantasy dream, fake
that's
fight.
What's making me relent a little bit as well, bro. I can't lie. The Eubank, yeah.
I mean, these two are way more talented than them, man.
Facts.
So, look, I'm trying to envision it. It could be a chess match. It could be a fight. It could be.
Question.
It could be what we expect to spend.
If Bud does this, bro.
Yeah.
Is he the GOAT of the era? He'll be the third. He'll be the first fighter to be undisputed in 3 classes, right? The first, he will be. Usyk's on 2. Inoue's on 2.
Between him and Usyk.
Mm.
It's between him and Usyk.
I
think if he does this, he puts him 1. I
think this gives up for me. He puts him 1 if he does this. The goal of this era for sure.
Yeah, it would be if he beats a Canelo, because no one's had to fight. Usyk hasn't had to fight someone of the level of Canelo.
Yeah,
actually, they're not Fury. Yeah, Fury's not that. Inoue hasn't. They've never had to. None of them have had to overcome.
Yeah.
This. Yeah.
Undisputed that 135, 140, and 168 is crazy. No, sorry, no. What is it? 135? No, it was 140.
140.
Undisputed 140, 147, and 168 is crazy.
Did you have a belt on one? Did you have a belt on 135?
He might have. He
wasn't there for long, was he?
I think yeah. I'll check.
I can't remember. We're going way back.
Bro, Bud's been, look, he's 37. He's been around for a long time. You can't forget Bud's had 41 fights. So, lightweight. Yeah, no. Hang on. Checking now. He did. Yeah, he did have a belt at 135. Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah. That was when he beat Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. He wasn't up there for long.
Mad. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because Gamboa was also 135 as well, remember? He defended against Gamboa, he moved up. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that puts about Gamboa. Yeah, man. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, fair play. Undercard, just quickly touch upon, bro. The chief support was Badou Jack versus Mkhitaryan at 41. But Badou Jack still got it, bro. Badou Jack is a cruiserweight champion again. He still got it at 41. Just a sharper, smarter, higher IQ fighter than Mkhitaryan. And Mkhitaryan kind of fell apart really towards the end by Jack. I just think he was just befuddled by just Jack and just his experience in tactical nows. Look, man, I've always been a fan of Badou, and we always rated Badou Jack in this pod. From day one, we've said Badou Jack's a good fighter, very underrated. Can't forget, bro, this guy fought James DeGale. Remember back in the day. The fact that he's still going is crazy to me. But Jack, great achievement, but I don't think he wants any parts of Jaya Pataya personally, or even Azurda Ramirez. So I don't anticipate him holding on to that belt for too long. But still nice to win. He's very popular over the Middle East because he's based in Dubai. He's like one of the premier Muslim fighters. So it was nice for him to win. Jagbot Bakoli also saw Flowz. Was given the draw, but I actually believe that Jagbot beat Bakoli. Good fight, I guess. Jagbot to me controlled the fight on the outside better with his just ring generalship. There were some hairy moments for him when Bakoli was able to get him up against the ropes and he was laying into him against the ropes. And there were times I'm just thinking to myself, Jagbot, get off the flipping ropes. What are you doing? Like, you'll do such good work throughout the round, but then towards the end of the round, you get caught on the ropes. And Bakoli, we know, is very big and very heavy-handed. That's the worst type of person you want to see on the ropes. But for the most part, he was able to control the fight from the outside with his jab. And but yeah, I was surprised they gave it a draw. I personally scored it for a Jagbot, so I would like for them to run it back. Apparently, there was bad blood between both of them. I didn't tune to the build-up, but apparently there was needle between both of them. But I didn't see anything. The post-fight interviews were killing me, bro. Yeah, okay. The post-fight ring interviews were hilarious, bro. Just both two freshies, really. Like that's what
the beef was.
Was it?
It was just them being freshies. That's what it was. He's the king of Africa, is what they were.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah. They asked Bakoli a question in the post-fight interview. He didn't even answer. He just went on a tirade about something else. Like it was silly. But yeah, they need to run it back. I'd say they need to run it back. Oh, Hayo Munguia got revenge against Bruno Saras.
Yes.
There was no drop-in, none of that. But competitive fight. Look, I watched that fight, Flowz. I said to myself, yo, Saras is actually really good. He's actually good. Like, you can see that he's a good fighter, like fundamentally sound. He was looking to counter Jaime, but we've also seen a change in Jaime. So he's now being trained by Eddie Reynoso, which I knew would happen. You know, Jaime's been the biggest Canelo fanboy from day one. So it was only right that they were going to take him under his ring. And we've seen a different Jaime Munguia, bro. A patient one that's trying to fight behind the jab, not trying to rush in and just throw hands. So it was a more patient performance from Jaime. And that's what got him the win. But I'll be so real. I prefer the old Jaime. This patient Jaime is probably going to win him more fights.
Yeah.
But the old Jaime, for me, that's where it was at. Because I knew that every Jaime Munguia fight, bro, was going to be exciting. He's in there catching hands, throwing hands, you know, tussling with his opponent. That's what I like to see Jaime Munguia do. So I'm not a fan of this new patient, more very, you know, varied approach Jaime. I prefer the old Jaime, but Eddie Reynoso is obviously trying to work on him and do some things. We have always critiqued his defense as him being very hittable. So, yeah, that was clear that they've been working on his defense. He wasn't as hittable in this fight, but Suras is actually a good fighter. I'd like to see Suras again. Doesn't really have power, but he picks his shots really well. Good punch selection, good timing as well. I was impressed, even though he lost. So, yeah, good fight. I don't think, personally, I said Jaime's got to get his get back and knock this guy out. He wasn't able to do that. He didn't even drop him. So I don't know how satisfied he can be, but he's back in the win column and he moves on. I don't know what the plan is for Jaime Munguia at this stage, but he's only lost, once? No, twice now. So he's still got, many years left. I don't think he's 30 yet. So he's still got better time. Throw himself in the mix with the other guys at 168. But yeah, that was that card, bro. Shall we quickly touch upon Inoue?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because it's worth touching upon because Inoue making his American debut was in a classic war, really, against Ramon Cardenas. Obviously, Cardenas, we said we didn't know anything about. But boy, after seeing that, bro, what he performed, what he churned out, very, very impressed with Cardenas. He dared to be great, tried to upset the apple cart. We've seen him drop Inoue in the second round. Legit knockdown as well, right, bro? It was legit. Sweeping hook. Caught Inoue as he was coming forward. But we've seen Inoue go down before, right? Who dropped him? Was it Neri? I think it was Luis Neri, right? I think Neri dropped him.
Yeah.
In Japan, and then he went obviously to kill Neri. But yeah, Neri dropped him. So, you know, with an offensive fighter, right, Flowz, we see it before. As an offensive fighter that Inoue is, you're gonna be open to shots as you're throwing as an offensive fighter. It's only guys like Bivol who somehow don't get hit whilst throwing. But yeah, Inoue, obviously naturally being so offensive, he is going to be open, and there'll be fighters who are good enough or fighters who are brave enough and have good enough timing to throw whilst he's throwing and time him. And that's exactly what this Cardenas guy did. And it turned into like an all-action affair after that, didn't it, bro? Like, Inoue was going for it. Cardenas at times was hurting Inoue, good body shots. But obviously, the inevitable was always going to happen, and Inoue was able to come through a very, very competitive fight and stop this guy in the 8th. What did you make of the stoppage, Flowz? Did you think it was a bit too early, or do you think the referee was justified in jumping in when he did?
It's a weird one because Cardenas was taking a beating for a few rounds at that portion. He got dropped to the 7th, but the round before he was taking a beating.
Yeah.
Maybe the round before as well. He could have.
Yeah.
Because I was watching the fight, I'm thinking, wow, why he hasn't gone down? He's not going down. He's surviving. And I'm looking at the ref. I'm looking at the ref while Inoue's landing these flurries. I'm looking at the ref thinking, refs don't jump in yet. Don't jump in. But I'm looking. But every single time Cardenas will throw a shot and he even rally back in one portion. He'll throw a shot or move. He'd keep himself in it at those portions. He gets dropped to the 7th. Then the 8th round happens again. I think he throws a shot in one portion again, but then he's almost going down. Ropes are keeping him up. And then the ref eventually jumps in. And yes, if you clip that portion and say this is the stoppage, then you'd be like, this is an early stoppage. But it'd been the flow of the fight for the last 3-4 rounds almost.
Yeah.
That position had happened a few times. So yes, I felt it was an early stoppage. I think you should have allowed Inoue a cleaner finish.
Yeah, I
because
agree.
and you should have allowed Cardenas the opportunity as well, really.
Yeah.
But it's been happening a few times, and I don't know, maybe the ref
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I guess maybe a few times too many. Because for me, the fact of the matter is that we're seeing Cardenas go through these bad spells every round,
Yeah.
but come out swinging eventually.
Mm.
It's like, to me, okay, cool. He's got that in him. So just let it happen again, let it happen again, let it happen again. But I can understand why the referee's there thinking, this is the fourth time this has happened. Let me just, it's too much. He's taking too much punishment. But because the fight was so electric and it was a great competitive affair, and I'm anticipating Cardenas to rally at some point through, the battering. I was a bit disappointed to see it stop there because it's like, oh man, like he's capable of coming back. We've seen it, so yeah, let him come back. Let it be a bit cleaner. But
I expected Inoue to stop him and that push him. Really, it's what I expected because once again, it's happened a few too many times.
Yeah,
you're taking more punishment.
Yeah,
but I think he deserved it because it's not that he was way too hurt and he was wobbly legged and he was doing dances. It wasn't that. It was just the accumulation of shots and overwhelming shots that were getting him. He wasn't doing any dances. He wasn't. It wasn't like the camera one where he's getting buzzed completely and rocked.
Yeah.
He's just taking a beating almost. He's getting overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I felt it was slightly early, but more justified than the Cameron one because the Cameron one was the first sticky situation the ref jumped in.
Yeah,
one time.
But the ref couldn't wait. The ref couldn't wait to jump in with that one. You saw that.
Howard Foster.
Yeah.
And if it was Howard Foster again today, this fight would have ended in round 5 probably.
Round 5. Yeah. Factual. Yeah.
So,
but Ramon Cardenas, I want to see Cardenas again. He looked like he was good and brave, and like we always jokingly laugh and say that be proud to survive as long as you can against Inoue, but he, unlike Paul Butler or some of these other guys, he was going for it. Like he was plucky, and he dropped Inoue, so he was about it. So I'd like to see him again, but Inoue, I think that's a great day. That's a top day because I can see some people are getting onto him saying, oh, he looks he's open, he can be caught. This that it was a shaky performance. To me, that's an amazing debut because you've shown the American fans and public that I'm going to be in Barnstormers. I'm an exciting fighter. I might get caught, I might get clipped, but ultimately I'm going to get up and I'm going to batter my opponent and stop and give you the KOs that you want. So to me, being an exciting, competitive Barnstormer as your debut to the American public is good, man. So yeah, that's going to get casuals in.
See, my thing is this, and I'll come back to it again.
Yeah,
with these Inoue fights, Cardenas was huge compared to him. Watching it,
yes,
Cardenas was huge, and this is a problem now because you've stepped over to America. He's fought in America before, but you've headlined in America.
Yeah,
and now I'm seeing tweets saying Crawford and Tank kill Inoue. Crawford and Tank. What are you not talking about? What are you not talking about?
Come on, man.
And this is what my issue with moving up the weight classes because you have a hairy moment or you lose a fight by daring to be great and moving up these weight classes. People start talking rubbish, saying Crawford beat off. Usyk beats Inoue. What are you not talking about? And it's casual fans saying rubbish. I'm not going to pin it all on American fans, but this is the type of nonsense you start to deal with when a fighter moves up in a weight and you only clock on to the weight he's at. The last few fights, Inoue's been fighting people huge compared to him, and he's been the one pressing them back, stopping them.
Facts. Mm-hmm.
And now you're saying Tank, who's another 2 weights above him?
Yeah.
It's 2 or 3.
It might be 3. I'll double check. Yeah.
And you're saying Crawford?
Yeah. I think Tank is 2 ahead of him, 2.
And this is Inoue who's moved up like 3 weights already.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, look, they're going to start saying, why doesn't he fight a Tank? Or what did I say last?
It's Tank, definitely Tank. Yeah, they're going to push that.
They're going to start saying that. Tank beats him, and if Tank does beat him, we told you. we told us what.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my issue. That's why I'd rather, in a way, go down and fight. What's his name? Either Bam or
Nakatani.
what's the other Japanese?
Nakatani.
The other Japanese fighter. I'd rather him do that because as a boxing fan, that's what I appreciate a bit more.
Yeah.
These fantasy fights end up getting out of hand.
This is getting out of hand. Yeah. True.
Because in a way, if Crawford, are we losing it?
Yeah, that's what are we doing? What are we doing here? Oh,
yeah,
what are we doing here? Just before we wrap up, bro, just to mention to listeners, there are 2 cards on this coming week. You got Anthony Kakachev fighting Lee Wood. And I think we have as well Raymond Muratalla versus Zara Abdullayev. Navarrete is also on that card defending his belt against a guy called Charlie Suarez. But yeah, no major fights really for this upcoming week. But yeah, we've had a lot of boxing these last 2 weeks, so it's not a surprise there. But yeah, Flowz, good episode. I think we can call it a day there, unless we've got anything else that I might have forgotten to add.
Nah, I think that's it, man.
Calm. Episode 246 of SZN Podcast, listeners. Once again, I'm your boy Kam.
I'm your boy Flowz.
And as always, you know where to find us on the streaming platforms. Peace.
You take it a strap. I'm strapped up.
7, what was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.